Welcome back, everybody, to Recap Kickback. It's me, Chappell, and I am here very excited to talk about another episode of, whatever I want to talk about. And I think this time it's going to be specifically a celebration of Black culture and artistic accomplishments with a special Lifetime Achievement Award for Usher. Yeah, that's right. It's
Mhm.
the BET Awards for 2024, and it happened, and we got to talk about it because where else but Recap Kickback would you talk about it? And so, thank you all for being here. I'm Chappelle, and with me, per usual, is my co-host. It's not Keith Lee, it's Mari. Mari, what's up?
Yeah, I'm here to talk about culture's biggest night, right? Question mark.
Mm-hmm.
That's what that is. Culture's biggest night. We celebrate it by nominating everybody and handing out awards for things. I can't wait to talk about this award show. The BET Awards is always it's always so funny to me, like unintentionally so, but I can't wait for us to talk about it.
Yeah, we got a lot to get into for sure. Thank you all for being here for Recap Kickback once again. I've been loving seeing the feedback, seeing the participation, seeing people join the Facebook group, facebook.com/Recap Kickback. It's starting to really take off. So you got to make sure you join that and make sure you subscribe to the podcast wherever you get your podcast. It's an audio podcast, but we're here on YouTube as well. So you can subscribe on Apple Music, on Spotify, on those podcatchers. And then, of course, you can always come to the YouTube channel, youtube.com/at Recap Kickback for all of our content. Because right now, we got a lot going on every week. Mari and I are talking about House of the Dragon. It's been so much fun talking about them dragons, them thrones, and all the rest of that stuff. So check that out. We also have a review of Supercell, which is on Netflix about the British people, the British Black folks that get superpowers. It's in the top 10 on Netflix. It's popping. And so this week I'm going to have Jason and Jazz from the Was It Good Though podcast. They're going to come and join me. And then we also got some special coverage of Black Barbie, a documentary that dropped on Netflix. And I will be bringing in Gia and Latanya Starks to talk about that. And so keep up with all that and more by making sure you subscribe and click like here on this YouTube video. Smash that subscribe button and be a part of Recap Kickback as we go on to cover more television, but also highlight more Black content. And what better content to start off with than culture's biggest night? Mari, it's the BET Awards again. We do this every year. To me, this is special. The BET Awards, love it or hate it, is ours. Like I feel like
Yeah.
for me, like you said, sometimes it's funny, sometimes it's cringy, but it's ours, and we gotta support it. Because if we don't, who else is gonna make a whole time like a whole entire award show just for Black folk? It ain't happening often.
hmm Yeah, exactly. Like, hate it or love it, it happens. Um, it's but it's us. It's us doing us, and I mean, no matter what, something gonna go down. It's gonna be the talk of the town. So we had to come out. We had to talk about the good, the bad, the ugly of it all. I'm so excited to talk about it because I know there's people out there that watched it and was like, "Did y'all see that? Somebody come look at this. Somebody come look at this."
Yeah, y'all
Because
see
that's what
this?
it makes you
You look and
do.
see.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. It's one of those things where you got to be present on Twitter because that's where the conversation, that's like the chat room for the BET Awards.
Yeah.
And as much as we complain about it, every year people are like, y'all still watch that? Yeah, we do. We do. We do.
Yeah.
If you watch it to complain, you still watch it. If you watch it to celebrate, you still watch it. And you can do all those things at the same time because, like Mari said, it's always an event. Before we get into the 2024 awards, Mari, do you have any particularly memorable moments from BET Awards past?
Well, honestly, like I didn't watch them every year, but like the past like 2 or 3 years I have, and it feels like it's gotten really good for like the past 3 years, like much better than like it has been before. I don't know why, but like before, like maybe 10 years ago, like that might have been when I was consistently watching it. And then after that, I
Mhm.
was only checking in every once in a while. I remember the Beyonce one, the one where Beyonce actually came. Like I think she
Yes.
was she was receiving her lifetime award or something like that. And she did that big old she basically had a Beyonce concert at the BET Awards. I watched that one. But other than that, it's just been I've been in and out or I listen to other people talk about it. But I think last year was so good. I think the girly rappers came out last year, and
Mm,
that was amazing. Doechii did amazing last year. I
yes.
remember begrudgingly to saying Ice Spice did pretty good last year as well. So we got like a lot of that again this year. So I don't know what's been going on in the last 2 or 3 years. It's been really, really good. I hate to say that,
Yeah.
but it fell off for a minute. I
It
mean, come
did.
on.
It did. It did. I remember the early 2000s, like you said, the Beyonce Deja Vu performance is something that lives rent free in my
Mhm.
head. Even Monique doing her homage to
Yes.
Beyonce and coming out with plus
Mhm.
size dancers and stuff. She did all
Mhm.
that dancing, all that hollering about being a big girl, and then she went and got skinny. It happens. But it was a fun time. I think the BT Award gives us a lot of memorable moments, and I do agree that there was a dip, and then
Yeah.
and then I think in the more recent years, when people started to lose more faith in the BT Awards, they've really been stepping up and trying to give us legitimate performances, to honor the ones that we want to get honored, and really start to cater to what the crowd wants a little bit more. And there was a lot of that this time. You mentioned the rap girlies. They were a
Yes.
big part of this show. Opening the door, just coming out the gate with Megan the Stallion, who you know how I feel about Meg. That's I can't I just get on here and start stuttering. I talk about the Stallion, but I mean to see her open up the show with Hiss, which is essentially a diss track. She was in her Kendrick Lamar bag, you know what I'm saying? But a
Yep.
show stopping performance of a diss track. Go
Essentially,
off,
that
Meg.
was a diss
Yeah,
track. Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
And I think that's like what was the dip for me. I think though most of those years that I did not watch the BET Awards, it was because it was when there was like no female rappers. You know what I'm saying? There was
Mm,
the one. And it was just like it was boring. But now all the girlies are out, and Meg opening with Hiss was just amazing. Um I'm so mad I'm not gonna be able to see her tour at all this year, but I felt like I got a little taste of it. And I'm gonna just say this up front because I might as well say it here so I don't keep saying it at the beginning. Like I the one thing that did take away from me for her, but not just for her performance, but like everybody who did it was that when they use backtracks, like
oh
when
yeah.
they're doing the rapping with backtracks. Like I understand that is like what you're supposed to do, but for me, somebody who is audio processing is not top notch. It's just always too much for me. I feel like I can't hear the song because I'm trying to listen to the mic, I'm trying to listen to the backing track. Like
Mhm.
I do hate that. That takes away from a lot of live performances for me. But other than that, it still was a really, really good performance. And it reminded me I need to keep Megan on repeat. I need to go listen to the album again. Um
Yeah.
a great way to open the show.
Yeah, her album Megan just dropped, and as you
Mhm.
know, it's got some hits on it. She did Where Them Girls At, which I only heard a
Mm.
portion of the album, but I had already favorited that song because I heard that K
Yeah.
Stylist sample from Booty Me Down.
Yeah.
Where them girls at? I was like, hey. So
She
I
got it
got
all
hyped
on that
because of that.
album. She's she's
She, she
she's rapping in Japanese. Like people are talking about
yes,
that right now. Like that's the big
yeah,
topic.
yeah.
It's
I'd be
like
surprised every time
who
she
can
come
do it
back.
but her? I know.
Yeah. When she goes to Japan, I'll be like, she never coming back because she loves it over there. She even, she be on her like her weeb stuff. I think they call it. She a little
Mhm.
anime nerd.
Mhm.
It's funny too because Gwen Stefani actually she samples Gwen Stefani on the song
Yes,
Boa.
Boa.
Um, yeah, and it makes me laugh because I think about when Gwen was going through her Asian phase, and it wasn't the
Mhm.
same. It wasn't the same as when Megan is doing it. It's a little appropriatey, to say the
And
least.
it's so funny because but let's be real, when Gwen was doing it, we was all like, "Yes,
We was
queen."
in it.
And then
Harajuku, yeah.
yes, and then it took a few years for us to be like, "Hold wait a minute. Wait a minute."
Right.
Because the
This
way she
ain't.
did it was not good.
It was not. And Gwen, this ain't about Gwen Stefani, but she was a lot
It's
of
not.
racist and over the
Yeah.
course of her career. Because I remember when she was a chola, it was wild. Top button,
Mhm.
drawn on
Hollaback girl.
Eyebrows. Yeah, the
Mhm.
hollaback girl was there too. Works the night every night and day, and now we get the feedback.
Gwen And look at her now,
that's
just all country and stuff. It's
that's
a shame.
that's a podcast for another time, I'm sure. And
Mm-hmm.
I might need to write that down because that could be fun to talk about
Mm.
some of the more appropriating moments in music history.
Yeah.
Put a pin in that. But yeah, we start off with Meg. We get performances from Big Latto. We get
Yes,
performances
Latto.
from your fave, Ice Spice. And we
If you gonna do that, then let's stop down because I really like Ice Spice's music does not connect with me. I listen to it, but I don't connect. It doesn't connect with me.
yeah, I hear it. yeah.
But I have to give her flowers on this one. She did not have a backing track. That
Mhm.
mic was on. I mean, she wasn't dancing, that's why. But like, I
Right.
mean, she was doing a little two step enough, and I was like, okay, girl. Like I like she has really taken the criticisms and like did it. Like I thought her performance last year was actually really good. Like when she had the whole like New York set, the bodega, the subway
Yeah.
set. It was mostly the set that did a lot for her. But
Mhm.
again, the mic was live. Like I have to give that to her. She did a really good job. I really don't like that you think you the fart song or you think you the
Yeah,
shit,
you think of the
whatever.
shit? You really a fart.
You really a fart. I but
You're not even a
she did,
fart.
yeah, she did it. So I'm gonna give it to her. She was the
Oh,
only person one of the only people I could understand. I could hear the
what?
lyrics.
Oh, you couldn't understand your other fave, Sexy Red? Get it sexy, get it sexy. Lean
When
on the
she
sand, super fat.
no, when she was singing the everything song, I
Ooh, that was bad.
oh my lord. I'm like, I don't understand. I don't understand.
yeah.
I get
The
it,
this
but I do get it because some of it's earworms. Like, get it, set,
uh-huh.
bow, bow, bow. It's earworms, so I get it, and I do like Rich Baby Daddy. Like, so it Rich Baby Daddy Gang. It's just so much. But the moment when they recreated the white or the cap was that the
um,
Capitol?
I think that
Sex-
yeah, the capital.
Chappelle.
It's just okay. We gotta say it. And I'm not gonna use the G word because everything ain't gotta be the G word. This was inappropriate. It was because we all know Sexy Red don't know what the hell she talk about politically, and she be out here running her mouth wearing the red MAGA hats and talk about what she like. Sexy, shut up. No disrespect, but also be quiet. You're not helping. You're not helping. You know, the BET Awards has, for better or worse, really tried to highlight a lot of the political aspects that we're dealing with right now in 2024. There was a lot of make sure you go out and vote. A lot of talking about policy. A lot of that throughout the entire show. Why the hell do we have Sexy Red in the middle of it with her "Make America Great Again" ass and performing? It's like, yes, Sexy Red is a hot topic right now, but let's not lose the plot. You know what I'm saying? Let's stick to the messaging and make it uniform across the board.
I literally was like, the people behind her are like going full MAGA in a sense, like full like we know what's gonna push the buttons, we know what's gonna make it talk, make people talk. And I even heard today like her tour is the Sexy Red for President tour. Like
Yeah.
yeah, you go to sexyredforpresident.com to get the tickets and all that. Like they are leaning into it. People have been talking about like with her talking about politics and endorsing Trump and all that and being like kind of like a plant, being like, oh my god, just so many things that even I'm starting to be like, girl, what is you doing? You know?
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
it I could not believe. I was like, oh, they are like her dancers were dressed as Secret Service. I could not believe it. I was like, you know what? We're talking about it. She did it.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I mean that's what they do. They're doing something provocative because it gets the people going. You know,
Get people going.
I personally don't put any stock into anything that Sexy Red does. Like, I mean, her music is catchy, yes, but like I'm not like making any political decisions for myself based off of Sexy Red. Comma but
every
we
that every
there
that.
there's not, yeah, that is not to say that everybody is not going to look at Sexy Red and not think of her as some type of role model, or maybe, people might actually listen to whatever message she's trying to spread when she talks about politics. Personally, I don't even think Sexy Red gonna vote, so it's not really something that I'm really worried about. She just don't strike me as the rush to the polls type, you know what I'm saying? So
Right.
I ain't worried about her vote, but I really do want to make sure that we don't lose the messaging here, because as Taraji P. Henson, our host of the BET Awards this season, will
Ooh.
remind us several times over, Project 2025 is a real thing and the Republicans are talking about it, and we don't want to lose sight of the messaging. So, what did you think about Taraji as the host of the BET Awards in 2024?
So Taraji as a host, I loved it. I thought when she opened up the night with a parody of Not Like Us, it was, what was it? It's for us or something, like, what was the she
I
used it, this this is
when
for
I hear,
us. This is for us or something
oh,
like that. It
gotcha.
was, again, very, I had to have closed captioning on while I was watching this.
Yeah.
Because again, back and track all that. But like she did a really good job of like parodying that song, talking about who she is, talking about like women getting paid equally and stuff like that. And then also talking about like how the night is to celebrate black people. It was great. I loved it. I thought she had some really high highs as a host. Like you said, her motivational rant about politics, like, she was so passionate about it, and she wasn't just like screaming at it. She was like, also go do your research. You can
Hmm.
scream Project 25 and all that stuff from the top of the rooftops, but people just need to go and do their research and really tell what is at stake for this election, especially with the most recent Supreme Court ruling. So it's just kind of like, I thought she did a very good job of being open and honest about what's going on in a very like decisive election year. Like, as much as you like, some people just want to be, don't talk about politics, take politics out of it. This is supposed to be entertainment. There are people probably thinking about that right now as we're talking about this on this podcast. But it's like, I we can't some of us can't afford to just not talk about it. So I get it,
Hmm.
and I thought she did an amazing job. We even got a cameo from Madam Vice President Kamala Harris, because of course they are two alumnus of my illustrious university, Howard University. And we got a segment here, which it was a political ad, people. It wasn't a real call between Taraji and Kamala. It was a political ad. It said paid by Biden Harris in the bottom. And Kamala, she popped out and had to show us. She heard
She
was
said,
in the streets.
she said, "Girl, I'm out in these streets," and I threw my phone across the room. They had to go pick it up to tweet. I'm like, y'all, Kamala, you what? You got it, girl. I'm out in these streets, ma'am. In
And we
what
gotta
way?
vote because they not like us.
They not like us. Thanks, Kamala.
I love some
Davey
good political pandering.
Davey Rickenbacker was texting me the other day, like, doesn't she just give you like HBCU auntie, like just like former staff member of HBCU, like she the cool staff
And
member that you
she is
talk
that.
to. Yeah, like you really didn't like taking her class, but now that you're not in her class, you can kind of laugh and joke with her a little bit. That's how
Mhm.
she felt. Because girl, I'm out in these streets took me out. But I appreciated them talking about it and reminding people to go to vote.gov to register to vote.
Register
This
to
is very
vote.
important. Yeah,
Mhm.
very important. We'll come back to some Taraji shenanigans for a little later on. How about that?
Yes, we will.
Because we're not done talking about the rap girlies. Like I said, Big Latto was there.
She did a good job.
She always
Yeah.
does what needs to be done.
She at
MC
least
Light,
gonna give us a dance, that's for sure. She was
she
dancing down
she gonna dance. MC Light still on the mic doing the transitions in the commercials. If
because
they
she
call her
can't not
MC for
be
a
there.
reason. Yeah,
Like,
that's she is the voice of the BET
of
Awards and
BET
has
Awards,
been.
yes.
Yeah, I have to convince myself that she doesn't MC everything. Like because I always hear
Mm,
her in my mind when everybody's about to go to
mhm.
commercial break, regardless of the award show. In my mind, MC Light's about to pop up.
It's
Like,
MC
why is she not at the Grammys? You know what I'm saying?
Right, yeah.
Yeah. Shout out to MC Light. There were a
Amazing.
couple more rap girlies who popped up. Of course, we cannot talk about the BET Award 2024 without talking about someone who was announced as a participant at the very beginning of the episode of the show, and then I proceeded to wait because
Uh,
deep down, I really didn't think they were coming. And I'm talking about Lauryn Hill, who owes
mhm.
me $85.72 for the concert that she did not show up to with that I paid for. So Lauryn Hill, I ain't forgot, but she did make it to the BET Awards this time.
And what year was that you
I don't
did
know,
that?
but I will never let it go.
Okay. Because I mean,
No,
after a certain year, it's kind of like,
it's like the statute of limitations, inflation. It's probably like, yeah,
well, no, I mean, like after, like, if you bought that ticket sometime after
you are not
20,
about to victim blame me, Maury. I
I
see where you're
am,
going.
because because it's not like Miss Lauryn Hill hasn't done this before. So
They said she was back, Mari. I had to go see the comeback. I was like, oh, look, Zion. No, incorrect. I was out there by myself. But Lauryn Hill performed. That was cool.
yeah. It's always good to see like somebody who you didn't think was going to show
No,
up, perform again. She still wasn't the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill was officially like the number one album by Rolling Stone, I believe, right? Like
no, it was Apple Music.
Apple Music. Okay, I knew it was one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Like that is still one of the greatest albums of all time. And you know, say what you want to say about all of the things that she does, but when she shows up and she sings, it's a can't miss event. So I mean, the
I
BET
mean, we
Awards did
can't miss
it.
it. She might, yeah, she might miss it, but we gonna be
Yeah,
there every time, with our clown noses on. Mari, I will not move on without saying that Apple Music was wrong as hell for making Miseducation the number one album of all time. Make no mistake, I will never let somebody disrespect Michael Joseph Jackson like that and
yeah,
then walk
Thriller.
away from it. Okay, yeah,
Yeah,
sorry,
that's true.
sorry. It might be a top 10, but it ain't number one.
I think
That
Thriller was
said,
two, wasn't it?
Thriller was, yeah, they put number three Thriller at two.
Two,
In
yeah.
what word? Anyway, never mind.
Mhm.
Let me again podcast
Mhm.
for another time. And Lauryn Hill performs with YG Marley, who I never seen
Her
perform before.
son.
I'd heard the song before, but I had
Mhm.
never seen him. I did not know this was Lauryn Hill's son and Bob Marley's grandson.
Yeah.
I was today years
Mhm.
old.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she wrote the one song about care for you, and then be there
Mhm.
for you. Uh she wrote that about her breakup with what is it, Ziggy Marley? I think that's
No,
the
it's the football player Marley.
okay.
Um,
I don't know.
yeah, she,
But
she
you're right.
wasn't with Rowan
Sure.
Marley.
But I think
Yeah,
you're right. Mhm. Cuz
yeah,
cuz
no,
they did that. They didn't work out. So
yeah, they didn't work out. I mean, imagine that. But anyway, yeah, big performance. They closed the show with that performance, and I thought it was pretty cool. I think we got a Wyclef appearance as well, which is always interesting. He might have came out on stage.
can't
There were a
remember.
few cameos throughout the night, but that was another big standout performance. Um, Aside from the rap girls, who else stood out to you as a performance from the
I
show?
mean, we gotta talk about who stole the show minus, the showcase, the big showcase. Victoria Monet. I mean, again, the mic was on, thank you, Lord Jesus, and
Hmm.
was on while she was dancing. She did On My Mama, she did All Right, while also doing a tribute to Mr. Michael Joseph Jackson,
Yes.
and somehow did 3 wardrobe changes and ended
Yeah.
up wet on the floor. I don't know how it happened, but that woman is so freaking talented, and I just love the shot of Coco Jones, like, "Oh my," like, everybody's like,
Yeah.
"Coco Jones is us," because what just happened?
Yeah. Victoria Monet was giving big Missy Elliott vibes at the very beginning of that performance. It was like, she had like
Mhm,
the bandana on and like the
mhm.
Letterman jacket. Like it was cool. She switched
I
it up,
love
then she
it.
switched it up again. She's having a moment. Victoria Monet is really like
She is the
yeah,
moment.
she is the moment currently. It's a fun watch, and she will go and rack up a couple awards in this night. Another performance we haven't talked about. Meg came back out with Glorilla.
Yeah, uh,
I
yeah, Glow.
Gloria, hallelujah. Yeah, Glow. Yeah.
Mhm.
Um, man, anytime I'm gonna get Meg on stage, I'm always happy. But I'm really loving Glorilla's rise to stardom as well. It's been a fun ride.
Yes, it honestly is also a really good bounce back too because like I said last year's BET awards I really paid attention to. I really broke it down. I really was like grading them performances. And I remember last year, I don't know if you saw during the tweets when the show was going on, there were people like, yeah, they're like y'all said last year that Glorilla fell off. Now look at her. And it's so true because last year at the BET Awards, she performed, I think it was Lipstick, if I remember correctly. It
Mm,
was the name of the song. I can't remember, but she was like, or Lollipop, something like that. But basically, she was like on this like rocket or lipstick or lollipop or something like that. And she was being like extra sexual. Um,
mm-hmm,
but it was weird. Like I remember thinking, I was like, this doesn't feel like Glorilla to me. It was just like I was like, I don't know what this song is. I don't know what this presentation is for Glow. Like it felt just forced. And
mm-hmm.
this year, it was like it all clicked. I mean, she has like 3 songs out right now that are just banging. The Wanna Be with Meg, not even including the Wanna Be remix with Meg and Cardi.
Yeah.
She has Yeah Glow, which is a pastoral hymn at this point. It's a
It
daily
is.
affirmation. And then she just dropped what is the actual name for it? But it's Friday, it's 7 p.m. Friday, whatever, 95 degrees. Like
Yes, 95 degrees. That's my look.
that song is so good. So she
Glow.
just dropped that too. Like she is literally tearing it up, and she looked amazing at BET Awards. It was like a frat house like display when the Meg came out. It was so cool. I was like, yes, Glow. Like she is killing it. I'm so happy for her.
Me too. I love me some Glorilla.
Mhm.
Every time, like again, it's like I see her performing. I'm like, yeah, Glow. You know, just kind of. I'm rooting her on the entire time. She can do no wrong in my eyes right about now. She's really having a moment as well. We haven't talked about the youngest rap girlies of them all,
Yeah.
Van Van and and Eris Harris. Yeah, I'm Van Van. Yeah. Um, they performed their song "Just Be You,"
Yeah.
and I thought
So cute.
this was the it was precious. These little girls are like what, probably like 10 years old, maybe
If
if that.
that.
Yeah,
Mhm.
if that performing, it was very positive. It was uplifting, and then of course it was a bar. Just be you playing tag because I'm it. Like
Yep.
you playing tag because I'm it. Because I'm it. I'm the moment. I'm him. I'm them. I'm they. I'm her. I'm like, bro. I'm it.
It
I
was
said,
so
okay,
cute. I
yeah.
love watching Van Van's videos.
Van Van's the best. Van Van is the best. Van Van looked like her parents never told her that she was a rapper. They just put her on stage and tell her to do that little dance she be doing because she always looked like she just
I
waiting on somebody to
love
tell her
that
to
dance.
stop. Yeah.
It's so
um,
good.
loved Van
Uh,
Van, but the BET Awards, I will say this, did a really good job of showcasing other genres of music this time. They normally don't
yes.
branch out that much, but due to, I will say, largely to the work of one
The queen
Beyonce,
bee.
yeah, she um, Jay Z's wife.
Oh,
She
no,
has
you
been.
didn't. Rude.
Try to see if I can
Rude.
get away with it. Look, no, listen, Miss Carter.
Uh,
She is really paving the way for a lot of like for like to break down barriers. I think like these there have been country western artists, black country artists for as long as country has been a genre.
yeah.
It starts with black people essentially. Beyonce has now broken down barriers to where, as we've talked about before on this very podcast, a lot of people are now
Mhm.
starting to listen to country and appreciate country for the first time. A lot of black people have for sure. And BET went ahead and highlighted two artists in that same genre. First, we talked about Tanner. You brought out Tanner Adele, and
Yeah.
that was fun because we know Buckle Bunny herself. She is like a part of the Hive and country western at the same exact time. Like Beyonce made Cowboy Carter for her
Yeah.
essentially. Like you
Mhm.
could tell it spoke to her specifically.
Yes, and Tanner Adele did amazing, even though she was like on a different stage, and she was basically in a car commercial for her
Yeah.
performance. She hopped out of a car and performed in front of it the whole time. But I like the Buckle Bunny song, so I glad I got to hear that. I didn't know the second song, the Cowboy broke my heart, I believe is what that one was. But that was so cute. That was such a vibe, and all her lace and stuff like that with her dancers. And I was so happy that she got that like recognition for real.
Yeah, and then we also see Shabuzi. He comes
Yes,
out as well. Yeah, he does a bar song, also known as Tipsy.
Tipsy.
Yeah, and
Chappelle, can I tell you, I'm like, BT Awards are on. I'm like feeding a baby. I'm like on my phone. It's going on. I'm like, okay, Shabuzi. And then I'm like, hold on. I start like
right.
listening to the actual like words of this a bar song, and it's like, I'm like, did he just country up Tipsy by Jaquan? And I was like, let me stop for a second and rewind and listen to this.
Mhm.
It was
And
so good. And then the man himself came out and performed Tipsy. Jaquan came out. I was like, look at this. That was great. I was like, see, and this black people. I love
yeah,
like
yeah.
this is what I like. This is what you need to get me interested in country.
Jaquan has approximately 2.5 songs, and when I tell you, if both of those and a half songs come on, every time I'm hitting the chicken head, it speaks to me. Okay, so I was familiar with the Shabuzi song. Never in my wildest dreams did I think they were gonna pull Jaquan out of nowhere. Um, Tipsy is just an earworm. It is one of those songs that if you was there, you know. If you know, you
Yeah.
know.
Mhm.
And that between that and Hood Hop is the new improved Hood Hop. Like, bro, it was so cool to see J. Cole on the stage. No, J. Cole, J. Quan on stage.
Mhm.
Especially because in 2024, a lot of artists are really sampling the
Yeah.
songs that we millennials kind of grew up with. And now they're like flipping them and making them their own. We heard
Yeah.
that with Meg, obviously sampling K Stylist and even Gwen Stefani. We see, Latto has built a career off of being able to flip other people's music and really
Mhm.
just like killing it. And then, of course, you see, Tipsy, a bar song,
The
but
bars are
also
yeah.
kind of paying homage to everybody in the club getting tipsy. And so this was so much
That
fun.
was so
It
good. I
One
downloaded
of
it
the highlights of the night
immediately.
for me. Yeah, one of the
Yeah.
highlights for
I was
um
like, "Wait, I got it down."
so good.
But also, can I just say, like, just a mini rant because, like,
Do you think?
like, how people say you're getting older when you're like, "Why are they sampling my" like, I
Mhm.
truly don't mind when people sample. Like, I love all of those every single example you just said, that's sampling to me, and that's, like, really taking a song, mixing it up, and putting your spin on it, and I love that. I
Mhm.
hate, however, these songs where you're just basically singing the old song,
The old
but
song.
like putting new words into it. I just heard a song like 2 days ago where it was the Fantasia song. When it was when I
Oh,
see
When I See
you,
You? Yeah.
but it was like a
Was it the
hate.
rap one?
Yes, but it wasn't even rapping. It was like she was like, "When I see you, I hate you. I want to hurt you." But when I to the like the when I see you, and I was like, "You aren't even. You're not even flipping it. You're not. It's the
Yeah.
same melody. It's the same words, except for like you've turned it into a hate song. It kind of sound like a response song or something,
Oh, yeah.
how like people like will do a song and then they'll respond to. I was like, why are you ruining when I see you like this? Like, I think there's a difference. And I just want to say I that's what I mean when I say like I hate when people take like our music and then don't even do anything new with it. Like at least do something new with it.
Yeah,
Rant over.
yeah, no, I think that's fair. When I See You, I think the last time I heard somebody remake that song was Fulio. But R.I.P. Fulio, by the way. But and that's a story that we don't even need to get into that. But yeah, he definitely redid it, and I was annoyed. Like I think there's a way you can do it that pays homage to the original song that also is
Mhm.
kind of like, but makes it a bop in its own right. And I think that these examples that we've talked about tonight have done just that. But before we get into the awards, the actual awards that are given out, the performances of the night have to go to the
Mhm.
showcase for the Lifetime Achievement Award winner this year, Usher Raymond, who I mean, you're not gonna find many bigger Usher fans than me. I love Usher's music. I think that he's been making music my entire life, and I
Yeah.
probably have listened to every album multiple times, and you're not gonna find many other performers that are vocally and performance wise on Usher's level as far as male performance for sure. Like his only peer might be the same lady we were talking about earlier, Beyonce. Um, and that is a crazy stat to have, so seeing that Usher was able to get his flowers while he was still here to smell them and appreciate it, because it's cool to see that, because so many times we see people getting Lifetime Achievement Awards after they died,
After the
or
fact,
yeah, it's like, let's honor the memory of them. It's like you're eulogizing them, and they can't hear it, or they can hear it, but
yeah.
they can't experience the love that they would experience if they were here. And so I was just so happy to see Usher getting his award. There were, of course, legends giving this award to Usher. Terry Lewis, Jimmy Jam, like L.A. Reid. The big names came out because Usher is that good. And then we saw the performance. Now, Mari, personally, I do not like when people are given Lifetime Achievement Awards and they are told to do their own tribute. I really don't like it. I don't like that. Annoys the hell out of me. Now, sometimes I understand, because sometimes you're like, who else you gonna get to do it? But because sometimes these people, you just can't match them. You know what I'm saying? If you can get them, let them. But at the same time, I'm like, it's your night. You're supposed to enjoy yourself, treat yourself. Yeah.
Last year, Busta Rhymes received the Lifetime Achievement Award, and he participated in it, and it was great. It was a really good. Yeah.
I mean, that's why they're getting the award, because they're
and he probably
good.
picked. I wonder if they they probably pick if they want to. Yeah.
Probably. And so we see that Usher's showcase is going to be Childish Gambino and the R&B / rap girlies of today.
Really
I
good.
saw this. I actually didn't watch the performance in real time because I was watching House of the Dragon. So I missed that in the real time. But when I got on Facebook, the aunties and uncles were not happy. They were like,
with Childish?
Why? Why are all these women doing the tribute to Usher? Where was Chris Brown? Where was this person? I was like, that's what I said. I said, I don't want, first of all, Chris Brown and Usher don't even like each other. Didn't they just get in a fight like last year? So yeah, I was like, don't like that. But so I went and watched it.
What other R&B dudes could I've
seen people bring up Jacquees. I almost threw up. Somebody brought up Tyrese. I said, leave him alone.
He is in a padded room somewhere.
He was there. Tyrese was there. He was at the performance and right there in the crowd singing along. But I don't want Tyrese doing an Usher tribute either. Yeah. I really enjoyed the tribute.
People cannot sing. These
people are not Usher. And so I liked that they picked some of these people. Charles Gambino. Yeah, let's get him out the way first. Childish Gambino, they cut that auto-tune on that mic and let him do his thing a little bit. That was fun.
Are you a Gambino fan?
I am not. So I am a Donald Glover fan. I all encompass it. Like, I like his acting. I like the fact that he can make music. I like that he is funny. I like that he directs. I like him as a human. The rapper Gambino is not my guy. I like the funk Gambino that showed up with what is it? The Redbone Gambino, that one. That is my Childish Gambino. Like the precursor to that, when he was doing all his his cool rapping and stuff like that. That's not really for me. But
because the internet. Unfortunately, I'm like a pretty big Childish Gambino fan.
Really?
Yeah.
So
we went to his concert. I went to his concert 4 months pregnant with JJ.
Yeah. Okay.
He was amazing live.
Yeah.
And amazing talent. And it's so funny because everything he said, I love his music. I love his talent. I don't know if I necessarily like Donald Glover as a person.
See, and I don't know his personality. I do know he's got some things that he's said and done that aren't great. Yeah. And, we don't love some of those aspects, but I think him as a performer, I think that you're not gonna find
amazing. No,
he's like Yeah, he's like in that same vein as like a baby Jamie Foxx, where he could just do anything if he wanted to. He could act,
And
sing.
everything.
Yeah, he could do everything.
There's
I'm
two
not. I'm
people
just
who covered Atlanta, like 2 seasons of Atlanta.
Atlanta. Yeah, exactly. Like I said, not my favorite rapper, but is it "Awaken My Love"? That album he did with Redbone, that
Mhm.
was so
Yeah.
good to me. So we get Gambino opening
Mhm.
up the Usher tribute, and I believe he started with "You Don't Have to Call,"
You don't
and
have
it
to
was kind of
call
like yeah,
a
it was
stripped down
cool.
version.
Yeah, it was cool.
Mhm.
And then KeKe Palmer showed up, which
Yeah.
is a little shady. It's a little shady, Mari.
Oh, no,
You
that you're
forgot.
thinking of Trey Songs. You're thinking of Trey Songs.
No, I'm thinking KeKe Palmer and Usher because you
Oh, and
remember
Usher.
that time her
Oh, right,
baby
right, right.
daddy was
Okay, yeah,
like,
yes, 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 yes,
"She's
yes,
a
yes.
mother. Why is she at the
Yeah,
Usher
yeah.
concert?" Then
Okay.
why was she dancing with Usher? Next thing you know, she's doing an Usher tribute.
Usher tribute, as she should, and she killed it. She's free now. She can do whatever she wants to, and she's amazing. You're doing amazing, sweetie.
Her baby daddy was somewhere seething. His
As
homeboys
he
were telling him
should, as he
like
should.
how we knew it. This is
He
the
should
proof
see
we're looking
how he
for.
fills out those job applications. So
Sorry. Um, that said, we get KeKe, who, I mean, for people, talk about people who had a moment. KeKe Palmer is at the height of her powers right now. Like
you can't even
KeKe
say a
Palmer,
moment. KeKe
right?
has a lifetime. Like
She is a lifetime achievement award. You know what
yeah,
I'm saying? Like
yeah.
it's the way that KeKe Palmer giving a tribute to Usher makes sense. And that's
Mhm.
weird because she's an actor, she's a host, she's a singer, like she's everything.
He's
Yeah,
everything.
so yeah, KeKe was a great
Right.
decision for this. And then You
And
Make
what
Me
show
Wanna.
did she came in on
She came
You
in
Don't
on
Have
You
to
Don't Have to
Call.
Call.
Mhm.
Yeah, and she did the whole dance break or whatever.
That
I
was
think
great.
she got You Make Me Wanna, which is one
Yeah.
of my favorite Usher
Oh, one of my
songs.
favorite songs.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then it gets spicier. We do Good Good, performed by Summer Walker, which we know is a song that Usher is on with 21 Savage and Summer Walker.
I really like that song. Like, why
It's a
is
good
that
song.
song so good? It is so good, and it
Good,
actually has, like,
good.
a positive message too. I'm
A little
like
bit. Yeah.
like, "Okay, look at us." Summer
Yeah.
Walker's, BBL was a little distracting.
She be doing that. That's what she does.
Yeah,
You know.
okay,
Um,
though, you know? Eh.
Sometimes the body be bodying and sometimes it be bodying. You're like, oh,
Yeah.
oh, okay. And that's okay. Um, one of the bigger surprises for me after the Good Good performance is Coco Jones. I
Okay, mhm.
love me some Coco Jones, man.
Yeah.
For the people who are not familiar, I will be covering the new season of Bel Air when it drops with my co-host Puya. He'll be coming on. We've talked about several seasons. We have our own podcast feed dedicated with that. So if you want to hear us talk about Bel Air on Peacock, please stick around because Coco Jones is one of the stars of that show, and
Mhm.
she easily was one of the stars of this tribute. There Goes My Baby. She's singing it to the
Yeah,
crowd.
that was
It
great.
was great. She was so good.
Mhm.
Man, that's what I'm saying. I know you people could quibble with who they wanted in the performances, but like, how do you get mad that Coco Jones is singing? Like, she's so good.
It was so smart to go with women.
Yeah,
Honestly,
it
it's
really
just
was.
so smart because you're not gonna put male again, these rusty ass male
Ah,
R&B artists up there trying to imitate Usher, and, like, it will just be a poor imitation, they will not come close. So, doing women and kind of putting a twist on it, especially since women can actually hit the range that Usher can hit, it was genius. Whoever thought of that really needs a raise.
yeah, and I'm glad you brought up the range because who has the range? Marsha Ambrosius. She has the range. She has the range. She will never not have the range. And
Mhm.
she sings Confessions. We have Chloe Bailey come out and do Good Kisser.
Who
Y'all
did
can never
Good
make me hate
Kisser, though?
Y'all can never make me hate Chloe.
Oh,
And
no,
I
never.
love it. And I
Absolutely
love I'm sorry, I love Good Kisser. That actually makes sense for Chloe
never.
to do it because
Oh, yeah.
You know how Chloe music be.
Chloe be out there. She a little free
Yeah,
when it
she
comes to her
she
music
be
choices, and this was a very cute performance. She was all over them girls.
uh-huh.
I was shocked when it was Good Kisser. I was like, I have not heard like, that feels like a deep cut to
Bang
me.
bang bang. Yeah.
You know? It feels like a
Yeah.
deep cut. I was like, I haven't heard this in years.
I
It's
do
not
love
one of
the
the
kiss.
things that comes top of mind,
You
but
know
it's
what
been
would have been
stuck
a
in my
decent
head ever
quote?
since.
Yeah. Now once you hear it, you're like, oh, it's back, it's back.
Mhm,
But like that was around the time when he started making his little stripper anthems, like he did "I Don't Mind."
mhm.
Like those songs.
What's the one with,
Girl, make that
Lil
money,
Freak?
money, money. Yeah, he did. Oh, I remember. Yeah, he's done a few. He's done a lot of
He's
like
so
little
good,
some
like,
club bangers.
you
Yeah.
forget how many bangers he had, and this is what it transports me back to February when we were all trying to guess what his set for the Super Bowl was gonna be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It
Man,
was good
Usher is
times.
having a moment too. Like, we
He
keep
is, which
saying
which is
that, but it's
crazy because
like,
it's Usher. Yeah.
it's Usher. Again, he's having a lifetime achievement.
Right.
It's just
Which
great.
and Usher has a lot of lifetime to live, so
Yeah.
prayerfully. So that like, we're gonna get more from Usher soon, and then we get Nice and Slow performed by Tinashe. I always
Woo!
say that Tinashe is one of the go-to people that you need for when you have a performer like a Janet Jackson, like a
Janet.
Usher.
Mhm.
You call Tinashe. I don't know how y'all feel about Tinashe music, but she gonna get on that stage and cut up, okay? And
That
so, what
girl,
can you say?
she been grinding for years, and she has such a loyal fan base that really be riding for her. So I'm glad she's one getting this, like, this little spotlight from the Usher uh tribute, because she did an amazing job. But
Yeah.
also the Nasty Girl song is now, it is viral on TikTok, and
Mhm.
that dance is hilarious every time I see it is. It's so good. It's like the dance is catchy. Yeah. The song is catchy. She finally, yeah, it feels like this is gonna be her, like,
She finally
breakthrough
having her
moment.
thing, yeah, which is
Yeah.
crazy because
She
she been here, she been
she's
out, she been
been
outside.
here. She's
Yeah.
been here. And that might, and like, some people might be mad at us saying that, or whatever, but I think there's gonna be some good things on the horizon for her this year.
Oh yeah,
If they
yeah,
can,
good.
team capitalize on this, it's gonna be good.
Yeah, everybody ain't able because sometimes it's just that it's not the right timing. But I think for Tinashe, I think you're right. This feels like a moment as well.
Why are you just gonna, like, hit Normani like that? She didn't
You
deserve
know,
that.
you know, you knew exactly who I was talking about too because
Oof, poor baby.
that is a podcast for another time. Um,
Well, technically, it's for right now. Did you know she was supposed to perform at the BET Awards, right? You hear
I
this?
did not know that. I
She
did
was
not know that.
supposed she was announced to perform at the BET Awards. She was at dress rehearsals and everything, and she got injured. She got injured during rehearsals, and she had to actually pull out of the BET Awards. She did a thing on Twitter and all her social medias, and she really was like, she couldn't do it. And it was I felt so bad for her because her album just came. They did such a poor
Just
ass rollout for her
it
fucking
really
album,
they
man.
played in her face.
Who keeps doing this to this girl?
She cannot catch a break. She literally can't catch a break,
Cannot.
and it's hard to watch that. Like it's like
Yeah,
you're rooting for her. We're rooting for all these people, obviously, but
exactly.
we want her to have her moment as well. Tiana
Thank
Taylor.
you.
Tiana Taylor comes out and steals the show.
Dog.
Uh, and this is the recreation of the Beyonce and Usher version of Bad Girl, the performance that they would do that they did on tour. Tiana Taylor comes out as Usher, and Victoria Monet comes out as Beyonce. And I'm standing up clapping because what the
Damn it.
hell? Who came up with this? It was so good.
Had to be Tiana, because
It had to be.
she
It had to
had to
be
be.
her. Yeah,
Had to be.
yeah.
Dog. This
She
was so
dances.
good.
They
Oh,
they cut it
both
up.
of them.
They ate it up. I'm sorry, just no notes. It was perfect. Um, and then we end the entire Usher tribute with Big Latto coming out to perform. Yeah, which is probably the most curious choice for me out of all of the things. Like I
What?
understood.
She's from
Um,
Atlanta.
yeah, no, I understand like why Latto would perform an Usher tribute. I also understand why they would do yeah, but it feels
Mhm.
like the Lotto performing Usher doesn't make sense to me because essentially she's just doing the rap part. You know what I'm saying?
Right, right,
Whereas like
right.
yeah, so that's why I'm like interesting. Like okay, yeah, but
It
it
played
was
to her
it,
strengths, though.
it did, and yeah, it's one of the bigger songs, like probably Usher's biggest song of all time.
Right.
So it was great. The performances were great. Usher gets up and does a speech, which is heavily muted on accident by BET, but the full speech is online. You can go watch it on BET.com. You can watch it like everybody thought it was some conspiracy. People were saying on Twitter like he talking about Diddy. All of this, he was not. His speech was about
like. Why were they muting it though? Like it didn't make sense.
Usher said at the beginning, toward the middle of his speech, like, "Hey, I'm about to start speaking from my heart, and I cuss a lot." You know, first he started off with like, "I talk a lot," but then about midway through, he's like, "I'm about to start cussing." And so, they had that finger on the trigger. They were muting, and the mute button got stuck for the audio for the audience for watching it live. So the live, if you only watched it live, you did not hear the entire Usher speech, and you know it. And I saw the aunties and uncles were a conspiracy theory in their way through that. What was he talking about? But the entire speech is online.
Funny.
Yeah, he talks about the hardships of Black men in America. He talks about this is the year of the father and that they all need to support each other. He name drops a lot of his icons in his life. And he even talks about how sometimes you got to go through some stuff to get to something. And so it was an inspirational speech from Usher. It was great. Usher, one day you will pay for your crimes, though, because Confessions, you wrong for that. You wrong for making a banger of an album about cheating on Chili. That's all I'm saying.
Immortalized it.
Immortalized it. Every time she hear that song, I know she'd be mad. But that's Usher. We also had the awards of the award show. And as Mari said earlier, I think every human that have ever been on BET was nominated. Like it was like 17 people in each category.
It truly was. I was like, what is this? Like, I thought it was like supposed to be 3, 4, 5 max.
They said, everybody get these flowers.
Which is great. That's great. But I was like, oh, it's still going. Okay, nominee. Oh, like, okay.
Yeah. One of the categories that really stuck out to me, I was texting Mari about this, y'all. BET said, okay, we're going to give away a award to the best male R&B / pop artist. And in this category, they had pop ? Singer Brent Faiyaz, Burna Boy, who does not sing pop music or R&B, Chris Brown, pop R&B singer, I'll give him that, Drake, noted rapper, pop rapper, sure.
Yeah.
Friday, who I was not familiar with.
No, who was also nominated for a lot of the international awards.
Yeah,
he was there a lot.
He was nominated for all of them. He's Haitian American, and so it made sense for him to get nominated for the international albums as well. October London got nominated, and then Usher. And I was like, Usher, Burna Boy, Chris Brown, Brent Faiyaz, Drake. How they all end up in the same category? Make it make sense.
And who won that? That was
Usher.
One Usher won.
Yeah, Usher. So good for him.
But you didn't even talk about the award. You probably, but the BET, the Her Award. I was like,
what does that even mean?
What does that mean?
Yeah. The BET Her Award nominees included Victoria Monet, Glorilla, which how did they end up in the same category together? But fine. SZA, who also should not be in a category with Glorilla, and probably not even with Victoria Monet, if you really think about it. Beyonce, who is Beyonce, who is essentially her. And then Flo Milli, who has no business near Beyonce in any award nomination. Like they don't make the same music.
She's amazing. Yeah.
And I love Flo Milli. That's my girl.
Yes.
I was sad that she didn't get to perform. And Victoria Monet wins the Her Award. I'm not quite sure how Beyonce lost the Her Award to Victoria Monet, but I guess the honor to be nominated? ?
Beyonce didn't win any of the awards. I believe.
I mean, she wasn't gonna come, so I mean, I guess that's cool.
That's what I'm trying to figure out. I was just figuring out who was winning the award based on who was there. But then SZA won some. Maybe it was the female best R&B pop one.
Yeah, she won best female R&B pop artist.
Yeah,
well, those nominees were Beyonce, Coco Jones, Doja Cat, Her, Money Long, SZA, Tyla, and Victoria Monet.
Yeah, Money Long.
And so SZA wins, which is cool. I like SZA. I'm very happy. But again, a lot of nominees in each category. We got a performance from Tyla as well, who does win.
Cool performance.
Yeah, I mean she's
I
kind
didn't
of
know the song, but it
yeah,
was
she's
cute.
I just want to hear Water all the time. That's the one. Put it on repeat. She wins the best international artist act award presented by Coleman Domingo, which is kind of
Yeah,
cool. One thing we didn't talk about, Charles Gambino had a moment where he talked about he
hilarious,
did a monologue, and I thought it was very funny, and I thought it was
so
very smart
funny.
because he says, hey, you guys, I just find it weird that this is the Black Entertainment Television Awards, and I am a Black entertainer who is on television, and I do music and I act and all this other stuff, and I have the same amount of BET awards as Sam Smith and more Grammys than Will Smith. Now, how does that happen? How do I have the same amount? I just find it weird that he's
Does
not getting.
Sam Smith
Well,
like have an award or is it like
he
zero? You
does.
know what I'm saying?
No, he
Oh,
did. He did. I believe he won for I know I'm not the only one or whatever that song
yeah,
is.
that one
Um,
big song from like
yeah,
10 years ago.
yeah, and I think Gambino has a point. I think that there's something to be said about the Black Entertainment Television Awards nominating people, obviously outside of BET, the
Mhm.
BET, umbrella, but also not showing love to a lot of artists that may have been grinding in alternative spaces that are not like public or mainstream in like the larger Black community. So we know Charles Gambino rapped, but he wasn't making like the gangster rap that was popular while he was rapping, right? He was making like the
Yeah.
college kid rap. And so it
Mhm.
really didn't play the same way as a lot of these other rappers, a lot of his peers. And so he didn't get the credit. But for him to not have any of the acting awards that they give at the BET Awards, they
Is
haven't given. That's kind of weird. Yeah.
it is weird, and it's hard because again, this is where I tread very lightly when I say like I don't know if I kind of like Donald Glover as a person because he has been on record by saying like very anti-black things, especially about like black women and stuff like that. So and it's hard. It's hard because
Mhm.
if you'll see a lot of comments where people are like, "Well, Donald Glover is only black when it's convenient for him because any other time he doesn't really like to associate with us." That's what it feels like. You know what I'm saying? But I don't want to get into those games because I'm not about to sit here and say who's black and who's not. You know what I'm saying like that.
Mhm.
Um, so it but what it is absurd, like music choice aside, what is definitely absurd, and you can't even convince me otherwise, is why he doesn't have television BET awards because
Yeah.
Atlanta was an amazing piece of television that talked about the black experience in such a weird surrealistic way that there's no way he should have been passed up for that. You know what I'm saying? Like, even
Mhm.
if you didn't like his character on Community or anything like that, but Atlanta was a love letter to blackness and alternative blackness,
Yeah.
to say the least. So no matter, what he's done in the past, I do love that he has given us that gift. That is Atlanta. So he made like points were made. Like when I saw that video,
Mhm.
I was laughing and I was also like, points were made.
He made some points.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm rooting for everybody black who is rooting for black people.
Exactly.
That is my hard line. And so if
Mhm.
we see you deviate from that, that's when you start to lose me. So I will
Exactly.
leave it at that. However, early in the show, they had announced that there would be a special performance from someone we just mentioned, Will Smith. They also
Oh,
said there would be a performance from the Fresh Prince at one
the
point,
Fresh
and I was
Prince.
like, and I in my head I kept saying why, and here's why. Here's why I question it. Because Will Smith, to me, has not proven that like music is one of the things he's focusing on right now. I haven't heard any Will Smith singles out. I didn't know, like I know Bad Boys just dropped, so he is a very popular figure right now. The movie is doing numbers. It's proving to people that theater still works. Like you can still go to the movies and make money off of it. You can.
Mhm.
But when you say he's gonna perform, I'm like, all right, are we getting Wild Wild West? Are we getting the Men in Black song? Are we getting
Wild Wild
uh
West.
are we getting Parents Just Don't Understand?
What
What are we getting in 2024, in the year of our Lord 2024 from Will Smith? And I saw it and I'm still not quite sure what we got.
so
Was this the
I
gospel portion, Mari?
It was. I forgot. So I forgot the BET Awards were on. like originally, and I only remembered a half an hour before Dragons came on, and I was like, "Oh snap!" And I turned to it, and it was so funny because the section that I saw live was Van Van and Eris. I was like, "Okay, Van Van," and then I saw Will Smith. I was like, "What is happening?" And like I was like, "Let me just turn,"
Mhm.
because it was definitely a gospel section, him rapping with a choir. I was like, TLDR. Like I don't care. I never you didn't is this a forgiveness song? You don't need my forgiveness.
You
I
don't
never
need
was mad at you.
Will, we didn't need you to apologize or nothing like that. To me, it felt like this was him like talking about his journey
Uh,
from the darker time that he was in the last year or
yes.
so. We know he slapped the hell out of Chris Rock, but as most people, and I won't speak for black folk, but I will speak for most people that I know. We don't care. We did not care. I
We
don't
did
care.
not care.
I am very happy Chris Rock did not fight back in that moment because I think I didn't need y'all fighting up on stage in front of all them white folks. Uh, comma, but, but I Will Smith did what he needed to do, and from there we move. I really think we move, and
Mhm.
so I think it put him in a space where he saw a lot of his peers, whether white or black, really like turning against him. They're saying like, "Oh,
Yeah.
that was unacceptable. I don't like that. I don't respect it." Blah blah. We had a lot of people speaking out against Will Smith at the time who probably shouldn't have been saying nothing. They should have just been minding their own business.
Yeah.
But it looked like he was telling his story in this song. I'm not gonna lie to you, I will never hear this song again.
Never.
Kirk Franklin came out, and that's when I thought, oh, is this the gospel portion? Will Smith doing gospel music now? I don't, I don't. I love Will Smith. I love him. I
Same.
do. It's like it feels like somebody I've known my whole life. He feels very
Never
familiar.
wavered.
Yeah, and again, I hope for the best for that man, but I don't ever have to hear that song again. I'm good. We good.
Never. We
Yeah.
good. We big chilling on that.
Yeah, get jiggy with it. If you want to get my attention, get jiggy with it. Switch. Welcome to Miami. Give me the hits.
Oh.
Just the two of us. There are other things Will Smith could have done, and I'd have been like, "Hey, he's back, baby." This was not one of
Not
them.
it.
This was not one of them.
Oh, it was so fun. That was so funny.
Finally, we have to wrap with talking about maybe some of the segments that worked and did not work in the BET Awards. Taraji was doing a great job of hosting, but she did have a lot to do. We know she started with the Kendrick tribute, kind of with the They Not Like Us. She took us through the events of the year, started with Cat Williams in January, as we saw him on Club Shay Shay. Usher, of course, in
That segment.
February. Yeah, Risa
It was
Tisa for the
clunky.
TikTok story. It
Yeah.
was a lot. It felt, how that goes. And then talked about the April beefs between Chris Brown and,
Mhm.
and Quavo and Kendrick and Drake and Kelly Rowland versus that white lady on the red carpet. It was a lot. But we got through it. But there were other moments that we didn't really stick the landing on.
I'm sorry, but that one didn't really stick the landing for me because like maybe it was because like it felt like they were stealing it. You're
I
stealing this
mean,
from
it is.
TikTok.
It is. It's
You're
a meme.
stealing this.
This is a
Like it's
this is a meme. It's a Twitter
yeah.
meme. Like we
It's like somebody keeps the calendar. Yeah, it's just
yeah.
but it wasn't done effectively because I hate to say it, I don't know if Taraji knew the reference. You know what I'm saying?
Well, it's a valid argument. Taraji is a woman of a certain age. I believe she's about
Yeah.
50 years old. And everybody that she's interacting with that is winning awards or being presented to, with the exception of Usher, is like maybe 35 max.
Yeah.
And so I feel like there might be a disconnect in the audience for the people who are coming to view them. Like, the Latto's fan base probably skews a little bit younger than Taraji's fan base. You know what I'm saying? And so I think
Mhm.
maybe there is a bit of a generational gap
Very
between
that.
what the
Then why
people
they
we're
make her
catering to.
improv? That's the
I
that's
did she improv?
Oh, she definitely improv that the calendar section and the section we're about to talk about. She definitely
I
improv.
don't know if she improv the calendar section. I mean, they put up a slideshow, so they knew
Yes,
she was going
but
to
I
talk
mean
about
like like it felt like all they gave her was the headline like
the
oh
outline. Yeah.
yeah, the Chris Brown versus Quavo because 3 times she said, I don't even got to say much about that. We don't even got to
Yeah.
talk about enough said. I don't think they gave her like a funny line.
I
You know what I'm
I think
saying?
I just don't think she was prepared. I don't.
Mm.
You know,
It could have all
um,
been last minute. Yeah.
it could have. It really could have. Because again, I mean, no disrespect to our people, but it's our people. You know, we love them,
Uh,
but we gotta be realistic, y'all. We saw B Simone, um, B Simone doing a segment about black jobs, Mari, and
Hilarious.
was the segment hilarious?
No, B Simone was.
Okay. um, yeah. Ooh,
Oh,
okay. So
and
I like the idea.
unintentionally so.
Yeah, I like the idea of let's talk about the black jobs. They bring up TSA agent, which is I don't care what nobody says, definitively a black job, yes.
That was
And
good.
so they had
Yeah.
me. Then they moved the TV judge, and I was like, I don't know. That feels like a reach. Then it feels like B Simone got lost. Like there was going to be another joke in there somewhere, and she
Mhm.
ended up just kind of freestyle as she called DC Young Fly ugly a bunch of times, and then
Oh,
she
that was
said,
funny. I'm sorry, I
it's,
loved it because
and,
I was like, "Yes, please call that mofo ugly
ah,
again for me.
you're like, get him again, get him for
Get him
me.
again, whack him again." It was so
Um,
good.
but also not in the script. It couldn't have been because she said someone who do hair, who lays your edges, does your 27 piece, blah blah blah. How is that a joke? Duh, of course. Ain't no. If
Of
you're
course
going
it's
to
a
a white
conversation.
stylist to get a 27 piece, I'm sorry. You know, I don't. I try not
Mhm.
to comment on black women's hair too much,
There you
but
go.
do not go to a white stylist to go get a 27 piece. You
Or
know,
your
like
edges
it's
laid.
just don't do that. Don't do that. Support black business at that time. So I just felt like that we might have missed wherever the punchline for the joke was going to be. I feel like she pivoted the best she could. Then we got a moment that is cringy to say the least.
And still a
Taraji,
topic of debate
which
today.
is wild. Which is wild.
Very,
So
very wild.
Taraji goes out into the crowd and she's giving people their flowers because that's one of the themes of the night, with Usher getting his award in front of everybody. And she stands up in the row, kind of near who we know as Keith Lee, who is a TikTok slash viral influencer for restaurant reviews. He's also a mixed martial artist. He's very much an influencer that everybody is getting to know in recent years. And so it was his time to get his flowers. However, Taraji stood in her mark. Apparently, Keith Lee was in the wrong spot. And so when she turned around to talk to Keith Lee, she was not talking to Keith Lee. She was talking to the man who she referred to as
Jordan. Oh yeah.
Method Man lookalike.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah,
uh,
Jordan Howlett, I believe is
yeah,
his
Jordan
name.
Howlett, who has also gotten a little viral fame this year. And
Mhm.
so these two people do not look anything alike. I think he looks more closer to Method Man probably than Keith Lee for sure.
Yeah.
So
But
it was
how did
very
she
apparent.
know? It's so weird because she knew the Method Man reference for Jordan, but didn't know that he wasn't Keith Lee. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I feel like she was just in the wrong spot. Like I feel like Jordan, I
oh
mean, he
yeah,
was in the wrong
that's
spot.
what she
I feel
said.
like Jordan should have been sitting where Keith Lee was. And
Yeah,
then Keith Lee should have been sitting where Jordan was. And
yeah.
so she says Method Man looking like, but I don't think she knew who Jordan was. I think she just said it because of
Because
that was the script.
oh you but that doesn't make sense. It wouldn't be in the script about the Method Man lookalike if this is a Keith Lee Flowers segment.
No, I think she was supposed to acknowledge Jordan looks like Method Man and then move on to Keith Lee. And I think she acknowledged
Oh.
Jordan, moved on to Jordan, where she should have moved on to Keith Lee. And so when she stepped over to talk to
Oh.
Jordan, Keith Lee is on the other side of her. So she's talking to Jordan still, but Keith Lee is who she's referring to. So she looks and she's like, oh, damn,
Gotcha.
and yeah, Mari, this has been contentious online to say the least.
To say the least. It was so cringy. Like when I watched that, I was like, "Oh, like I hate secondhand embarrassment." Like I literally was
Mm,
like, I cannot I don't even know if I even listened to the rest of the thing. I just saw the point. I was like, "Oh, no." And then she called him cute in front of his wife. I was like, "Oh,
yeah.
Lord." But yeah, so then Keith Lee just posted a video of the rose, the flower that she gave him, and it was just him dropping it on the floor. And I don't think there was like much context or a caption or
Hmm.
anything. And so people were like, "Don't you go at Taraji like that?" Blah 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 blah. They were getting mad at him because it doesn't take much people to get
Yeah,
mad
don't
at
say
him,
much.
we've seen. And so then he had to make a video like talking about what it meant. He's like, he says he didn't realize that the video that he did was gonna um
Take
make a
off.
bigger deal.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think the only caption was like, what's for you is for you or something like that. So
Yeah.
in his explanation video, he just said like, I just don't know. I just didn't think that was for me because like he talked about how BET had moved them from one seat to another. He said he doesn't want the fame and stuff like that. He just was happy to be there. So he didn't think that the segment was genuine.
Hmm.
Um and like giving him his flowers and stuff. And he even says he didn't blame Taraji for not knowing who he was. He blamed the production of the segment. He felt like the segment was like rushed and unprepared, and that he like he said he believes whatever's for him is for him, and he didn't think that was for him.
Yeah.
What did you think about that first video? Because then we got to talk about what
I
happened.
mean, him throwing the flower down was weird. I was like, why?
It,
Why? What
yeah,
did
he
that
didn't have to do all that.
symbolize?
Yeah.
Like, what's for me is for me. And he just throws a flower down the floor. Like, what are you trying to
Yeah.
say? And then I saw his typical Keith Lee style video where he's talking
Mhm.
like, he doesn't blame Taraji, blah, blah. By the end of the BT Awards, Taraji does apologize to both of them and
Mhm.
say, hey, as it's closing, I wanted to give y'all flowers because that was a mistake on my part. So I felt like it was over. But
Me
then I think
too.
Taraji made a post where she was like, hey, I hit my mark. He wasn't in the right spot. It was an accident. Mistakes happen.
Mhm. Yeah. And then it's like, well, that's to me, that didn't really help because then I'm like, you kind of then confirmed what he said because
Yeah. It wasn't
you
genuine.
it wasn't genuine. You didn't like
No,
how are you giving him his flowers if you don't know who he is?
it
Like
was a bit.
exactly, it was a bit and a bit went wrong because you didn't know who he was. The production didn't do well, and so there was clearly a miscommunication because again he was in the wrong seat, but I don't think it was his fault. I highly doubt that him and Jordan was like, hey, let's just switch. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
that's
Like,
cool. Why not?
why not? Yeah. So it was a miscommunication between the seating people and the people who were staging the show. So like I was just like that didn't really help.
Yeah.
Taraji. But
I
then
did,
I'm just like, people like stop. Let's just this is not that serious. That
it's
was the
literally
biggest
not
thing to
that
me.
serious.
It's
That is
not
me.
that serious. Like, why
I
are
said
we mad at each
there's
other?
there's nothing to argue about because there's no reason why this should make any difference. She said, "I'm sorry. Let's move on." Like
Right.
what Keith. Apparently, it was just a bit anyway. So you didn't care about it. Let's not make a big deal about it. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
in the future, maybe BT give people their flowers and actually mean it, and just use it as a prop.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's why I'm like I'm not mad at either of them. And I think it's fair for him to say that because BT saw like I could definitely imagine like BT being like, oh, they're in attendance. Let's try and capitalize off their viral fame and stuff like that
Mhm.
and get a viral moment. And they did. It's just not the one that they wanted.
Yeah, but that's the BET Awards for y'all. That's what we
Hmm.
do every time. It's a spectacle, it's a show, but it's also it's a show, And so
Hmm.
we gonna get it. It was live, and this is what happens on live TV when you don't have anybody to go in and edit out those weird moments. You get stuff like this, but you have to appreciate what we get because again, there's not a lot out there for us. I mean, obviously there's other Black award shows, but you don't want to turn your back on any of them because if they start taking them away from us, then what do we have? So
Exactly.
I really appreciated being able to watch this and vibe with them. I appreciated BET taking time to actually highlight Black businesses,
Hmm.
Walmart's partnership with some of the Black organizations that they had. We saw a lot of the cast members from upcoming Black television shows and movies.
Hmm.
The Miss Pat show, Megan Good was there. Like there were so many different spots where they chose to highlight Black people, Black like artists,
Yeah.
creators, media, and all that jazz and throw it all together. And what we got was the BT Awards 2024. And it was so much fun, Mari.
Yeah, it was fun. It's sometimes you just need some unseriousness in your life,
Yeah.
and we are sometimes a very unserious people because
Very-
we have to laugh through our pain. And it's just great to have a night to celebrate us, even if it doesn't go
It ain't gonna be perfect. but it
Yeah,
happened. You know what I'm
it
saying? Like, don't
happened.
be.
Hmm.
Yeah, it happened. And guess what? Next year for the BET Awards 2025, I'll be right there watching it and supporting as well because I'm rooting for everybody black who is rooting for everybody who's black.
Hmm. Very that.
Yeah, and so that said, Mari, this was
Hmm.
fun. We've covered
Amazing.
mostly everything. It was a great time, and we got to talk about what's to come in your neck of the woods. What do you have going on these days?
So right now, Crime Scene, me and Sarah Carradine, are do a true crime review podcast where we review true crime documentaries, docuseries, stuff like that. So you can go check that out. We just dropped our episode, Deadly Influence, Social Media Murders. It's a 6-part uh episode, but it's like a different case each episode. It's like an anthology series, and we covered the first 3 episodes, and it's about true crime cases that involve social media. So we had a very interesting time talking to Naomi Calhoun, RHP podcaster, about it, and we had a great time. So you can just go to robhasawebsite.com/crime feed if you want to subscribe there, or just go look up Crime Scene podcast wherever you get your podcasts. The wrestling wrap up, we're talking. We'll see what's coming out. Money in the Bank is this weekend. We might do a review about it. We'll see. Just make sure you are subscribed over on YouTube, youtube.com/at wrestling wrap up. That's youtube.com/at wrestling RHAPUP. And other than that, I'm just here with you every week talking hot D, talking Team
Yes.
Black versus Team Green. So make sure you follow me on Twitter at Mari Talks Too Much. That's 2 like the number 2. So you can follow everything I'm doing over there.
Yes, and of course you can catch me here on Recap Kickback, bringing you more content than I can handle. And Mari's talking about Hot D, but obviously, like I said at the beginning of the podcast, we still have the Black Barbie documentary with Latanya and Gia coming soon. We also got Supercell from Netflix, which is a review for that coming soon. But you can also catch me on the Nothing But Netflix podcast that I host with Rob Sesternino, where me and Rob will be talking about Axel F, the 4th iteration of the Beverly Hills Cop movies, with our special guest Tyrone from Recap Kickback. Recap
Of
Kickback's
course.
very own Tyrone is coming over to Nothing But Netflix. So check it out and subscribe to Nothing But Netflix wherever you get your podcast. And then, of course, you can catch Sasha and I talking about Below Deck on RHAP on the Below Deck wrap ups feed over on RHAP. Check that out. It's a great time, and we're having a lot of fun over there. But remember to subscribe to Recap Kickback first and foremost. Leave us some likes, some reviews, some comments, because we're really trying to push this thing to the next level, and we need all the listeners' help because everybody's invited to the kickback. It's just the case. So for Mari and for myself, you can follow her at Mari Talks Too Much. You can follow me at Recap Kickback, and then you ain't got to go home. But we will see you next time and next year for the BET Awards for sure. But until next time, peace.